going on, everybody? Matt Malatesta back with the Locker Talk. Josh Cook. We're here on the campus of the Cannon. Okay, everybody's excited. They're out of school now, mostly out of school. But we still got some things to clean up. We got softball, we've got baseball, we've got a Major League Draft we're going to talk about, recruiting. So let's dive right into it. Okay, so this weekend is the state softball tournament, which is exciting. So many teams from Houston, well, 3 teams from Houston, but really some teams that have an opportunity to win state. Coming out of Region 2, Klein Collins makes their first ever appearance at the state tournament. Then you got Katy coming out of Region 3, and these are both Class 6A teams. They won a state championship in 2015. They are mowing down people. Let's talk 6A first. Can those two teams reach and play each other in the finals?
Yes. Very much so. Here's the thing. When the brackets came out, because this is what I was worried about. I was worried that because how they do it by the records and then they reseed them that way. I was worried that Katy and Klein Collins would end up in the same side. It would be a state semifinal, which would have been a shame. But Katy is on one side of the bracket. Klein Collins is on the other side of the bracket. So Saturday, there's a very good chance we could have a Klein Collins versus Katy, all Houston 6A state championship game, which would be amazing. And to note, Klein Collins is one of just 2 teams that have actually beaten Katy this season. Mm-hmm. Granted, disclaimer here, it happened back in February. It was during a tournament. Klein Collins did win that game 12-2. And it would be kind of crazy full circle to see those two collide again. Great pitching on both sides. Kennedy Hines for Klein Collins. Of course, Chloe Cobb and Alyssa LeBlanc on Katy's side. So you have fantastic pitching. You mentioned Katy's hitting. They're smashing the ball right now. They hit 6 home runs in the regional finals against Deer Park. This team is motivated and loaded, and they finally got over the hump of the regional finals, had been there 3 straight years, had lost in it 3 straight years, and are finally going to state as seniors. It's
really cool because they are a senior group. Caleb Hack, the coach over there, does a tremendous job rooting for them. If you look at the year that Houston has had, we haven't won a whole lot of state championships. Football, of course, with North Shore was huge. But, outside of that, I think, Montgomery won a state championship in girls swimming.
And Kingwood Park won a state championship in volleyball. Didn't have anybody in basketball. Had Klein Forest reach the game.
Weird. We need to stuff this trophy case this weekend, starting with softball.
Yep.
All right, let's dip down in Class 6A. Angleton outdoes Barbers Hill in a, instant classic 3-game series. Does Angleton have enough to get, past 2 of the greatest teams in 5A?
They have a chance because, number one, the collision course we saw coming, all playoffs happened, and it was epic. It was a 3-game series, 1 run decided every game, which is the way you want it. Actually, Barbers Hill had the tying run on 3rd and the game-winning run on 2nd, and pretty much missed going to state by 6 inches because a line drive down the left field line went foul by about that much. That would have sent them to state. Angleton wins. Angleton's got a senior pitcher in Elia Garcia who has been phenomenal this postseason. She's a Georgia Southern signee. She's 8-1 in the postseason. Opponents are batting 167 against her. She's thrown 2 no-hitters as well. She's done that 57 innings of work. She's struck out 69. She has been the workhorse for Angleton, and it was amazing. After the game, she had ice around her shoulder, ice around her legs. She had a stim machine ready going on her arm, and I think she is the biggest key to Angleton. I think they can get through the state semifinals with her and maybe even win a state championship on her arm.
That's a lot to put on her shoulder.
But she likes it. That's what talking to Coach Rubio, that's what she wants. She wants to be in the circle. She wants to be in those situations. And she has done phenomenal this postseason to get Angleton to state.
Okay, I'm going Katy wins it all in 6A. Prediction?
Wow. I think Katy and Klein Collins meet for the championship.
You want to pick Katy. He's going to pick Katy.
I'm going to go Klein Collins.
Okay.
I think Kennedy Hines, I think the crew over there, what Coach Troutman has done, I think Klein Collins can do it. I think they've played well. They've beaten them once this season. I know it came early in the year, but Klein Collins has played really, really good softball.
All right. So you heard it here first. Katy, Klein Collins. All right, moving to baseball.
Yep.
Regional finals this weekend. Cypress Ranch faces McKinney Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
McKinney Boyd knocked off the Woodlands in kind of a shocker in a 3-game series. Cy Ranch, of course, we'll talk in a couple minutes about their pitching staff, but I tell you what, they really got kind of lucky against Klein Collins in that regional quarters. But you have to have a little luck when you make a run like this. I think they're going to extend and reach the state Final Four. They've won 2 state championships already, and that school hasn't been open that long.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much a power in the city of Houston. At the beginning of the season, we knew Cy Ranch was going to be this top-seeded team. We had them number 1 at the beginning of the year. They held the number 1 ranking throughout the year. Of course, everything starts with pitching in high school sports, especially baseball. They have 2 of the best horses in the city, in J.J. Goss and Matthew Thompson. They have the hitting as well. They're beating people up at the plate. So Cy Ranch has a very legitimate chance to go, and I think that they just have all the pieces, and that this is the team. This is the year that they can go win another state championship.
Talking Region 3, we've got Kingwood versus Ridgepoint. Ridgepoint, hey, we almost had an all-Humble ISD final. Atascocita falls to Ridgepoint. Ridgepoint advances. So those 2 teams playing each other, man, I tell you what, Kingwood has it going right now on, really at the plate. I mean, they're just killing the ball. Also, pitching's doing a great job. But how do you see this playing out? I'm really kind of like Kingwood, punching their ticket to state.
And Kingwood's got the pitching, and the great thing about their lineup is it's 1 through 9. It's not just your top of the lineup's doing well. It's not the bottom lineup. I mean, everybody's getting hits. I've seen them against Dickinson. They ran through and beat people up. Against Lamar, they did the same thing. But Ridgepoint, hey, here's the thing about the Panthers. They're 6-1 in the playoffs. They have a team pitching ERA of 1.33. They're batting .261. So they've played really good baseball this playoff, the playoff run that they're on. First time being in the regional finals. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that, being 1 step away from being the state. Kingwood's been there and done that. Last time, of course, gaining state was 2005. They won a state championship that year. Kelly Meade, the head coach, was on the staff that year. So this is just finally, it feels like finally this was the team that they've had these guys, their 3rd year of playoff experience. Everything finally comes together. The senior class is there. You have Mason Wynn pitching well. It's going to be a great series, but I just think Kingwood has just too much against Ridgepoint, and they've played really well because, I mean, they beat up Lamar, which previously had beat up Memorial.
Right.
So Kingwood is looking very good right now.
Okay, stealing the headlines in all of Houston area baseball is Magnolia West. We don't talk about Magnolia West. They've never won a district championship. Talked to Coach earlier today, and he's like, hey, that was our first goal. Everything that they're doing now is making history. Every step they're taking is, first ever in school history. Talked to him about that as well. They played Georgetown, traditional power. Are the lights too big for them in a game like this or a matchup like this to go to state? He says no. They're all seniors, and they're excited for the challenge. They have 2, amazing prospects on their team. One being Connor Phillips, the LSU commit. He will likely get drafted relatively high as well. He has been on fire all playoffs, all season.
I agree. Mag West, I mean, they were a team to watch at the beginning of the year, and they just have played really good baseball. And when you get a team into the playoffs, sometimes it's just the team that catches fire at the right time, and they feel like that team. So at this point, pretty much all bets are off. They've already made history. They're farther than they've ever been before. So, hey, Mag West, just keep on rolling, do what you do.
He said the same thing. They're 1 through 9. They're great hitters. They've got great pitching. Their offense is really confident because they know, hey, if we get 1 run, we could likely win this game because of their pitching is so amazing. And they go through a tough Magnolia group, Tomball, they go through a relatively tough district. So I think that's got them prepared for playoff baseball, and they've definitely looked awesome. All right. So who are we picking? I'm going Mag West. I think they're going to make it to state.
Yep.
And then I do feel Kingwood's going to make it to state. And I'm going to go Cy Ranch.
Can we have Kingwood Cy Ranch state final?
That'd be fresh.
That'd be amazing.
Fresh, bro. Fresh. Okay, so finally, moving on. It's already upon us. Next Monday is the Major League Baseball draft. We have a couple of kids from this area who will likely have their name called in the first 2 days. The top, depending on who you look at, or whoever you're reading about, is Matthew Thompson is the number 1 player. I've seen him as high as number 17 overall. J.J. Goss, his teammate, and on the same pitching staff, also a first-round type of guy. And then Connor Phillips, the LSU commit, he is really gaining some momentum and coming up draft boards very, very quickly. Looking at what's going on in the draft, and I'm not saying I'm an MLB draft pundit at all, but what they're saying is that the pitching is not amazing in this draft. So if you are amazing, that's gonna be a premium, and they're gonna move up. Watch out for Connor Phillips not going to LSU and signing. I bet he gets in the top 5 rounds.
Yeah, and it's interesting in the Major League Baseball draft. I mean, these guys, what's crazy is these guys could be playing for state championships next week and have been already drafted a couple days before. But, you mentioned you look at the list I looked at earlier today. J.J. Goss, number 24 in the MLB pipeline, has a little higher stock right now than Matthew Thompson by the scouts just because his fastball has a little bit more life on it. His curveball is really good. He has a slider, which they say is one of the best in high school. And if you can throw a slider at high school, that's pretty good. Changeup is there, and the breaking ball is there as well. Matthew Thompson, a little further down. Scouts have been a little worried about his curveball during the spring. Hasn't been as good as they wanted. The fastball is good up there, plays at about 90 to 96, and he can throw the changeup as well. That's the biggest thing for these young pitchers once they get into the majors is adding that pitch. There's even pitchers in the majors that work on adding another pitch, as they get there. And then you mentioned Connor Phillips. His fastball plays well. Curveball is good. It seems like with what I was reading about MLB scouts, they feel like Thompson and Phillips, they need a little bit more refining. But teams will take those guys, get them into their organization, and start the refining process at that point.
So that's going to be awesome. So we're going to see how that plays out. Again, what you said is these guys could be at the state championship and just got paid millions on Monday. And $1 million Monday.
I will say this. I don't foresee any of these guys playing college baseball. I feel like they're going to be drafted high enough. I feel like getting into the right it matters about the organization too. If they get into the right organization, then they'll go.
Okay, little football recruiting news. The number 1 player in the country, Zach Evans, the running back from North Shore, dropped his top 5. Interesting to note that we were talking about that no Texas school is in his top 5. Ohio State, Bama, LSU, Georgia, OU. Surprised by that?
I'm a little surprised that there's not a Texas school in there. I thought maybe University of Texas would be in there because of the job that they've been doing of building up their offensive line. The only problem with Texas is it feels like the last couple of years they've been really heavy in the running back room, and they've had guys kind of transferring away because of that. So I could see that be maybe a reason. But Texas is on the rise. I mean, they won the Sugar Bowl last year. You have to feel like they are trending in the right direction. Kind of surprised A&M. They've been doing really well in Houston. Kind of surprised they didn't get a nod there. So it's one of those things. A couple of years ago, we saw it. Marvin Wilson was a big recruit here in Houston. He went to Florida State. And it's just one of those things that he didn't have a Texas school on the list. Doesn't mean that still can't happen.
Oh, it's early. It's so early.
I mean, the powers like Alabama, Oklahoma, both really good schools for running backs. So.
I thought you said LSU.
Oh, yeah, LSU in there, too.
Thank you very much. Okay, so, all right, Josh, real quick, tell us about the shirt.
Oh, yeah. So this month is Back in Gray or Go Gray in May. It's to raise awareness for brain cancer and tumors. In the month of May, one of our family friends, Adria Fleener, is battling a brain tumor right now. They're having a walk in Denver, Colorado this weekend. So we are supporting her from Houston, Texas, as you can see it. The Die Squad, they call her Aunt D, Aunt Di, Aunt Dee Dee. So Adria, hope you are doing well, and we are supporting you here in Houston, Texas.
All right, so follow us on all of our platforms. Vipe Texas on Instagram, Vipe.Houston on Snapchat, Vipe.Texas on Facebook, and Vipe Houston on Twitter. And then you can go to all of our other Twitter accounts from throughout the state. I'm Matt. This is Josh. Daily content at our site, Vipe Houston or VipeTexas.com. Either one, check us out. We'll see how this plays out in softball, baseball. We'll be back next week to break it all down.